We've grown up in the church and have always been somewhat involved in outreach. But how can we get involved in missions overseas? My name is Marianne.
And I'm Lillian. We wanted to find out. Join us on our journey to discover the culture, the lifestyle,
the need, and the mission
in two of Southeast Asia's least reached countries.
Welcome to MissionTREK. Hey, welcome back.
In the last episode, we traveled from Thailand to Cambodia, where we met Tim and Wendy Maddox. They live in the city of Siem Reap and have been missionaries there for over 25 years.
When they surrendered everything to God and stepped out by faith alone, God began to work through them to create what is now known as Wat Phra Yesu, which means the Jesus School.
Now in this episode, we are going to see a new project that God is building through them, and we hope it will show you the blessings that come from obeying God.
Siem Reap is where Angkor Wat, some very famous old ruins, are located. They were built around 1,000 years ago, and today attract nearly 2 million tourists a year.
So Tim and Wendy were wondering how they could witness to all these tourists and reach them about our Creator God.
So God gave them the idea of starting a butterfly garden. They call it Butterfly Paradise.
Okay, welcome to the Butterfly Paradise. Once you've come through here, bought your ticket, and then you step into here, and what greets you is butterflies. And there'll be flowers everywhere as well, because butterflies love flowers. And this wall here, it'll have plants growing out of it and hanging off it, like a sort of a hanging garden. Be plenty of flowers here. So you're going to see the best of our butterflies as you step through the entrance. And right in front of you, a waterfall with two sections. So there'll be water plummeting off there into this big tank. Small crocodiles, about so big, swimming around in the tank. You not only enjoy butterflies, then you've got crocodiles, you've got fish, get a real feel for the place. The flowing water create a nice sound atmosphere, and you'll have the sense that you're in a beautiful garden. And then you come around here a bit further. This will all be gardens, lovely flowers and plants. You can come and take a seat and enjoy the waterfall. Different style of waterfall, based on a waterfall that I saw in Laos. And fish, big koi fish swimming around. And of course, butterflies all around you. And once you've had a relaxing time enjoying that, you can take a walk up the steps. Now up here there'll be plants growing in here, so it'll be all vegetated. There'll be a tree growing out of that hole there. And from here you can get a picture of the whole area. There's a big waterfall over there, there's another one over there, there's another one over there. So you better sort of see all these water events happening. And again, butterflies flying around you, plants growing off these apparently dead trees, which are actually concrete power poles. Relax, enjoy the seat here. So we don't want to hurry anybody through this place. We want them to really get a wonderful experience with what God has created and just feel really at peace. Oh, the other thing there'll be in here is high-speed Wi-Fi. So anybody wanting to Facebook what they're doing will be free to do that. If you're getting too hot, you can step into the cave. It's not finished yet, but it'll have a garden in it, and it'll have animal display here, and pipes will all be hidden. Now this will be another place you can sit down, relax. Again, there'll be fish in this little pond, there'll be flowers right in front of you, so the butterflies will be right there before you. There'll be a full-sized elephant just over there, concrete of course, and then the waterfall off in the background. And so you can get a real sense that you're in Asia and enjoying the beauty of nature. Now, do you girls like the Flintstones? Do you ever hear of the Flintstones? Yeah, well this is their house. This is going to be a drinks shop. So people can enter the cave and buy a drink, fresh fruit shake or some other kind of drink. because by the time they get here, they're going to be hot and thirsty. So, and this is a fish tank, so glass front again, and it'll have some large Cambodian fish in it. Water's pouring off the rock there, through a hole here, down the outside. Now for the sake of shortening the tour, we'll go this way. But this pond here, this is to let the fish do the foot massage, and at the moment you probably wouldn't want to put your feet in it, but it'll be looking a lot better than this. Nice clear water and lots of fish to come and chew the old dead skin off your legs, which people seem to like to have done in Siem Reap and pay good money for. But this will be free, part of the ticket price. And you can enjoy the waterfall over here while you're sitting here, letting the fish chew on your legs. Now this will be a terrace garden. So this has got 5 levels here, 4 levels on this side, and a very pleasant waterfall falling down the middle. And it has a beautiful sound to it, especially as the water runs through the rocks. And by the time you get here, you're really hot and you're really looking for an air-conditioned room. So you can walk through the cave and then step into the air-conditioned cinema. And here you can learn more about God as creator through the videos that will be showing on the screen down there. If you get thirsty, you want to have a drink while you're watching the movies, there'll be a door there. You can step into the restaurant next door, buy a drink, and then come back and sit down and enjoy. And from here you can enjoy something that's quite unique, and that is a waterfall that drops as a tube of water through the roof there into that wishing well, and then flowing out into the pond again with lots of fish. So you got this far and now you're hungry. So you have a choice. You can either sit out here with the butterflies with an umbrella and flowers all around, so the butterflies are all around you, and eat. You can sit over here in the cave under the shade, or you can enter the glass doors here and enter into the air-conditioned restaurant. And so you have 3 choices. And the glass windows will allow you to keep enjoying the butterflies while you're eating, even if you are inside. You can enjoy that waterfall again, dropping through the roof, and enjoy the very unique rockwork in the ceiling here.
How long do you think it'll take to finish?
When I have enough money, maybe 2, 3, 4 months. Depends how much time I can commit to it to make it really happen. The part that's going to take the longest is the landscaping. So the buildings, I can put the building team onto that. They can do that pretty fast. But the landscaping has to be custom designed, so that will take quite a while. Just in here will be probably the most important room in the whole building, and this is where we will grow the caterpillars to butterflies. So it'll be an air-conditioned room, and we need to produce between 2,000 and 4,000 butterflies a month.
Oh.
So we're planning to have at least 20 species of butterflies that we're growing here, releasing into the cage. And then there'll be at least another 10 or 15 butterfly species, smaller ones, that will be self-breeding in the cage. We'll just provide them with food and they'll just multiply themselves inside the cage. Because the small one's a bit fiddly to take care of a tiny little caterpillar. We have on the other side, over there behind the trees, lots of plants planted that are the food plants for different kinds of butterflies. So we can harvest the leaves, feed the caterpillars. And when they turn into a chrysalis, prepare them for display, and then watch them hatch. And there are some crazy caterpillars, really, really beautiful. And I plan to build one of them. It's the world's largest concrete caterpillar sculpture, just outside the entrance there. And it will be about 5 meters tall and about 20 meters long.
Whoa.
It's yellow, orange, and black. It has these huge horns hanging off it. So it'll be quite a sight. Then we have an educational center, so you can come and learn more about butterflies. Some really cool things, like butterflies, when they hatch out of the chrysalis, they know how to pump their wings up, and they know how to dry their wings, and then they also know how to fly in strong winds, having never been taught. And not only that, they know how to find a mate and how to mate on the wing. And they've never practiced that one before either. So you think about Air Force pilots where they have refueling planes in the jet fighters. they have to practice for months to be able to refuel in air. But these butterflies, they hatch out, and within an hour of hatching, they're ready to mate in the air, like refueling. And they can smell their food plant for 3 to 5 kilometers away. And they track it. When they find it, they scratch it with their foot and they taste through their foot. If they've got the right plant, they'll lay their eggs on it. Through that door there, it'll take you into another building, and that building will be a small animal house. So we'll have snakes and lizards and frogs and insects, bigger insects for people to go and have a look at. Live ones, of course. And we also plan to have an aquaponics centre over there where we'll grow vegetables for the restaurant by filtering the water from the ponds and growing the vegetables in the water. And this here is a turtle pond. So the turtles that currently live in my house, turtles and tortoises, they'll live here. There's a little island in the middle where they can sunbake and you can enjoy, and they'll be free to walk around within their pond area. Over here there'll be a waterfall which will drop in front, so you better stand behind the waterfall and look through into the garden. And then there'll be other gardens underneath here. And then to finish it off, you step through some glass doors here into the souvenir shop. And we plan to manufacture as many souvenirs as we can here on campus, professionally sort of done souvenirs. People will exit through a doorway over there. When they exit, they'll see a giant butterfly just outside, also made of concrete and steel.
Wow.
That's gonna be a really cool place.
I hope so. I hope people find it really cool and they want to come back.
You guys blown away.
And the income generated will be obviously used to help run the orphanage and the schools and do other projects, probably develop more schools.
You definitely have to come back when this is finished.
Yeah. This place is really cool.
So how can we help and get involved with this project?
You can help pray. Pray that God will give me wisdom to finish it, and that God will provide the finances so we can finish it and get it open and let the world enjoy the world of butterflies.
So how long have you been working on it already?
We began working actually on the cage back in March of 2016. So next month it'll be 12 months.
Where did you get this idea?
A friend of mine gave me the idea. His idea was something fairly small, and I sort of dismissed it, but God wouldn't let me dismiss it, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. So I really think it's God's idea. I tried to convince him many times that we shouldn't do it, but every time I tried to convince him, he convinced me otherwise.
How does God convince you of something?
Well, in this case, it's like, God, I don't think we should do this project, it's too big. And then God will show me a new butterfly that very day that I'm arguing with him, or he'll show me a butterfly laying an egg on a plant that I didn't know was the host plant. And it's like, God, I'm arguing with you today, and then you're showing me these things about butterflies. And so for me, it's like God was trying to tell me, through the butterflies, you got to do this.
Is this going to be the biggest butterfly garden in the world or something like that?
It won't be the biggest, but it'll probably be in the top 10. But hopefully the most beautiful.
Where are you going to get all the plants to landscape?
That's a very good question, and I started thinking about that 2 years ago when we started working on the idea. And I got this idea that it was going to cost a lot of money for plants. And so I better start collecting. So about 2 years ago I started collecting one of each kind and multiplying them. So if you want to come with me, I'll show you what we've done. Did you want to see the snakes?
Will they still be there when you open this place?
No, when we open the place, they'll have their own special room, enclosure with nice glass fronts so people can see them, not locked away here in the dark. But right now they're safe here. Hello? Hello? Where are you? Turn around and look at me. There you go.
Look at his face.
They say that they go for the eyes. So If they can't see your eyes, they're not going to strike you. This one has 2 bumps in it. They're ducks that it ate last week. And the one down here has 1 bump in it. Last night it ate a duck for dinner. There's one more down here.
Poor duck.
But these are wild snakes, so we're just trying to leave them in their wild state, not tame them. And so wild animals eat live animals. So we leave the animals in here and we give the duck food and water, and when the snakes are hungry, they'll eat them.
So you just like found snakes?
No, I bought the snakes.
Okay.
Now, I should tell you the story. It's a funny sort of story about danger. See, the first 2 ducks I put in here, they didn't know anything about snakes. And the snakes would coil up over here in the corner. And so at night, the ducks would go and sleep on them, even during the day. And so literally the ducks are sleeping on the heads of the snakes. And the snakes didn't mind. One day I watched the duck put his bill under the head of the snake and lift the snake's head up. So that's how close they are. And the snakes just didn't bother about them, but when they got hungry, they ate them. The snake is about 12 feet long, but they will grow to about 20 feet long.
Those are big snakes.
Kind of cool.
She likes snakes.
She doesn't like snakes.
Whoa.
There's butterflies. Oh, there's already butterflies.
There's butterflies everywhere. So in the last 2 years, I've collected over 200 varieties of plants. Actually, it's closer to about 300 now. And so this is part of the collection. And over there's a lot more. And so most of them we started with 1 plant or 1 plant bag, and we just started dividing them up. And some it's easier than others, but it's been going pretty successfully. And the students work here with me to help produce the plants. And it's really fun working with plants, seeing how beautiful they are. Most of these plants aren't full size because we keep chopping them up, so we don't let them get too big. But I have a couple of these in my garden. They're like about, how many feet? 4 feet across, like a huge big nest. So these will grow much bigger. Maybe come down here where you've got some nice plants here. Just watch the slop. These are some of my favorite plants. These are called the bromeliads. They're like a pineapple and they're really colorful. So these will be hanging out of rocks off trees and that sort of thing in the butterfly paradise. So we've got the ferns, they don't grow much taller than that. And then we've got plants like this. These will grow about so high. And these will grow about 9 to 10 feet high. These have a big red flower, they're called heliconiums. Like you can see this one, it's red, green, white. These ones, they're purple on the back, and then the green. And this one down here, it's one of my favorite ones, the color of that.
Oh, that is so pretty. Wow.
And you can see the butterflies like it. Most of these butterflies are just one kind, and it's called the grey pansy. But at the moment, that's the most common butterfly we have around here. But here on this property, we've seen over 100 different kinds of butterfly.
Wow.
Most of them breed here. So that's one of the things that also helped me to convince me to do this project. The very fact that there were so many butterflies lived here, and not just little ones, big ones. And it's like God had prearranged that we have the food plants for them. Years and years before he ever got the idea to me.
Wow, that was so amazing. When we were there 12 months ago, it was hard to imagine what it would look like finished with all the plants and butterflies.
Yeah, it's gonna be so awesome.
It is, definitely. We have a special guest with us, Tim Maddox. Welcome to MissionTREK.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you.
So the footage that we saw in this segment was shot last year in February.
Yes,
So has it changed at all since then?
it's changed a lot. It's not finished yet, but it's almost.
That's really exciting.
So can you give us an update?
Yeah, actually, I took some video just before I left 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
so I'd love to share it
awesome.
with you.
Awesome.
So you might remember we came through the entrance. Well, now you can see the plants. There's glass where the crocodile pond is going to be. Waterfalls are still not working, but they will be soon. You can see butterflies. There's no wire on the sides yet, but that allows the butterflies to just fly in and fly out. And there are lots of butterflies come every day. It's butterfly paradise, so of course they want to come to paradise. So you can see there's lots of color in the plants, purples, oranges, yellows, and the plants are growing really, really well.
So much different than when we were there last time.
There's so much more color.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just coming up toward the Flintstones house, which is going to be a drink shop. And you can see how much the plants have, well, there wasn't any plants there before, but how they've grown since we planted them. We haven't actually set up the shop yet. There's glass in the fish tank just here on the left. There's a little grass lawn and some bromeliads and coleus. The colors are really popping nice.
Was it really challenging to figure out where to put the plants and like arrange everything?
Yeah, I spend hundreds of hours looking at other people's gardens on the internet, studying what they've done, and then just praying about it.
I can't imagine like all the details of like what grows where. Like, oh, that would overwhelm
Yeah,
me.
we'd lay out the plants, have a look at it. No, I don't like that. Rearrange them, try to get it looking right.
Oh my.
So how do you raise butterflies?
Well, you begin by collecting eggs. So the butterfly breeders have to go out, find the eggs on these special plants that the butterfly will lay its eggs on. We call that a host plant. And then they'll take them back to the laboratory and wash them, sterilize them, so there's no bacteria on the eggs that could infect the caterpillars. Dry them and then just keep them safe for 5, 6 or 7 days until they hatch. And then the hard work begins, making sure they got enough food, cleaning all their poop out of their containers, and they really poop. And then, every day they've got to be fed once or twice, and the leaves that we're feeding them have to be cleaned, sterilized to make sure there's no bacteria, no virus. Yeah, just keeping away parasites that might come to try to infect them. So we'll have an air-conditioned room, which is where we keep them. And so every day, twice a day, somebody's going to have to check them, make sure they're doing okay. They go through 5 stages of growth as a caterpillar. We call those instars. And each instar, at the end of each instar, they shed their skin. It's like changing clothes. But they have to do that because every day they double their weight.
Oh my.
And as they double their weight, of course, they're getting bigger and bigger. The skin just doesn't stretch enough. So they have to change the skin so they can have a bigger skin for the next stage of growth. So depending on the caterpillar, they might eat for 12 days, 15 days, 20 days. The bigger the caterpillar, the bigger the butterfly, the longer they eat for. And when they've finished their 5th instar, then they will sew some silk onto a branch or whatever it is they're going to attach to. And they make a hook in their tail end, and they hook that into the silk, and they hang, and then they shed their last skin. But instead of a new skin, they've got a chrysalis coating. And so that's when the miracle really happens, because then almost all the cells inside break down into a liquid soup-like thing.
Wow.
And a few cells begin building a butterfly.
Wow.
So over the next 5, 6, 7 days or longer, those cells have to build a butterfly. Wow. Now it's a miracle that they can do that, because they were a caterpillar, not a butterfly. So all that information is recorded on the genetics inside their cells.
Wow.
Once the butterfly is built, it knows just the right time to stretch, split open that cocoon, and come out. Now it's got new legs. It didn't have legs like it had these little tiny legs before, and now it's got long legs, but it knows how to use them, stand up, and then it's got to unfold its wings. Its wings are all folded up, and it has to pump blood into them, stretch them out until they're flat, and then hold them there until they're dry. Once they're dry, it can fly.
Wow.
And so we have a butterfly. So once the caterpillars become a chrysalis, We're going to have a special case where we hang them up, glass front, so that our visitors can see them. And as they come out of the chrysalis, they can watch them come out, watch them stretch their wings. And if they're there at the right time when the staff open the glass doors, watch them fly out into the butterfly garden.
Wow,
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So when the garden is finished, how many people will you have working there?
Well, I'm thinking about 30 because we've got ticket sales, we've got drinks in the restaurant, we need people in the education area, we need maybe tour guides for people who really want to know the butterflies better, someone to tell them about it. We need people to sell in the souvenir shop. We need manager, accountant, cleaners, gardeners. So there are lots of people, so about 30 people altogether.
Wow. So since you built the whole thing by faith, where did all the money come from?
God is able to touch the lives of people, impress them to give. And so we've been praying all through this process that God would inspire people to give. We don't ask them for money, and it's just a miracle. We don't always have the money to do this, but we just keep working in faith that God is going to provide. And it's just amazing to see what God has done so far.
Yeah, it is incredible.
So how'd you learn like how to manage all the plants and butterflies and stuff?
That actually goes back a long way. My grandfather was a gardener. And I learned to garden, to take care of flowers from him. And then I studied biology at university. And so I learned more about plants, about animals. And so, yeah, for many years I haven't been doing very much in the biology area. But God has brought me back to the area that I studied, an area that I love, and given me opportunity to do the things that I really love to do.
That's really cool.
Yeah, how God just like had those natural interests in you, and then now you can use them and be witnessing for Him at the same time.
Yeah, and also to share them with other people. So as we've grown the plants and flowers, people have come to love doing the same. And as we work with the butterflies, yeah, they've come to love the butterflies. So it's a part of passing it all on too.
Yeah. So should everyone who wants to reach people for God build a butterfly garden?
I don't think so. When you look at the flowers, you look at the butterflies, the animals, there's just so much variety out there. And I believe that God gives each person different skills, different talents, and it gives them a different calling. So it wouldn't work if everybody was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So there are many ways to reach people with the love of Jesus. And people should use the skills and the talents that they've been given to do that.
Thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
It's been a great pleasure to be here. And I look forward to seeing both of you at Butterfly Paradise.
Yeah.
And seeing our viewers as well.
Please pray that Butterfly Paradise will be used to reach the unreached.
See you next time on Mission Trek.